Hey, welcome to another Minute Microscopy. I'm Casey Rochefort. Like, share, subscribe. Today I'd like to talk to you about liberty. Well, true liberty. Where does it come from? That's not where you might think. You see, I think true liberty comes from support. That's right. Rather than independence being a cornerstone of true liberty, support is actually the infrastructure that we need in order to be independent, to have liberty individually, but also to have liberty as a society. The two have to be hand in hand for the other to continue existing. You already understand how this works. In capitalism, large companies don't operate with just one person. They need a whole team of people to do things. They need a whole team of investors to fund the whole thing. Otherwise, none of it works. It all collapses, all falls apart. Now, you're probably thinking that's a great argument for privatization and funding things that we want and need personally and directly. Well, yeah, but also no. That's a great plan, but in practice, that wouldn't work so well. Can you imagine sitting and divvying up your paycheck every 2 weeks? Okay, you know what? Like, I didn't think of this last time, but I need someone to take care of the sewers and blah, blah, blah. You would have to go through so many different things and take all your money and divvy it up. And you have no idea how much of your money you should be divvying it up to keep it in operation in your neck of the woods. This is why the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. This is why public options need to exist. And yeah, that usually means that they're run by the government. It doesn't have to be that way. It can be a non-profit situation, but then there's also the laws of the land that you have to play fair with. Anyway, getting back to the main point that true liberty actually comes from support. If you're freed up from having to do all these things, as I was explaining, divvying up your paycheck to keep everything running nice and smooth, everything tickety-boo, then you actually have time for yourself. That's one aspect of liberty. But you also create a society that wants for nothing. And in doing that, there are some invisible things that are happening that you might take for granted. Poverty, homelessness, disease, for-profit health, things like this drive crime up because, well, it's not fair. I understand that you might think liberty has nothing to do with fair or not, but liberty shouldn't be about qualifying yourself as a deserving individual for basic human needs. And what I mean by this is that if you see a business failing, you think, well, you know what? They didn't have what it takes. They don't have a right to be a business. They deserve to fail. Some of you probably don't think that, and you're all about bailouts and corporate investments and whatnot, but humans don't operate in this way. There aren't illegal humans. There aren't humans that deserve to die because of their poor health choices. This sort of thinking is sociopathic at best, and it really doesn't lend itself to a society based on liberty. If you have liberty and you feel like you earned it, good for you. Give yourself a round of applause, but do it in the corner over there by yourself, because not everybody has the same bar to jump over. You can't measure everybody with the same metric. You might have, in your head, passed some test to make you feel deserving of the things that are made available to you without too much work on your part. It's okay to have stuff like that. That's part of being in a society. When there's too much for any one person, rather than let it waste and rot, usually the family, or branch out to the village, the society, your community, whatever, stands to benefit from what's left over. And that benefits you. Yeah, it does. Because the longer they live, the more they're there to help you when you need it. The more able they are to bring home the next surplus when you had a poor day at the hunting fields. Maybe you're starting to see the bigger picture here. Nobody is an island. You cannot achieve liberty by yourself, and true liberty cannot exist when any one of its parts is being oppressed. Aside from the poor mathematics of capitalism, this is the one fundamental flaw that makes it vital that we begin to steer our society away from such a heavy dependency on capital. We're post-scarce for all intents and purposes. We don't need that anymore. We don't need billionaires amassing wealth, doling it out to a few big companies so that small companies can't even get off the ground. There's another aspect of liberty. You can't even start your own business anymore because it's futile. You won't make it. You just won't. Very rarely will somebody make it, and they probably make it because they know the right people, they pull the right strings, they probably do some illegal shit. Our society is getting really fucked up. We gotta fix that. Liberty over your patriotism, over your capitalism, over your sense of proving your worth as a human. We're all human. It's as simple as that. That's all the proof you need that a person should be able to live with a roof over their head, have food, go to the doctor when they're sick, and not have to go bankrupt. These are really simple humanitarian concepts. Where's your empathy?